Yeah, look, I said this to the team. I said, part of this process is not fooling ourselves. They beat us tonight. They beat us good in all three areas, and it starts with me. And so, even though that hurts going down, you can't spit it out. You have to swallow it. That's the truth. They beat us in all three areas. We got to coach better. We got to look at what we're doing. We got to make sure we're not doing too much, and we've got to do that all in a quick turnaround. So that's kind of how I saw that game.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here we are. Quick turnaround. We can't spit it out. We've got to swallow it.
Yeah. Tough, man. We've done a lot of victory altitude after darks, haven't we, DMac?
A lot.
How many months?
11 in a...
Well, how many months?
Well, 3 months. We've done 11 in a row
on the day.
It's been a long time.
You know that the last loss that we did an altitude after dark with the Broncos loss was September 21st. September 21st. That's crazy. 3 full months ago, man. And as I listened to Sean Payton,
that's crazy.
It's a saying that I've heard a lot in coaching, right? It's like, we've got to take our medicine.
Okay.
We've got to, you got to chew on it. You can't just get rid of it. You got to chew on it. I mean, he just flat out told you can't spit it out. You've got to swallow it. And so over the last 3 years, DMac, you and I'd say you've probably been a little bit more responsible than I have for some pretty good Sean Payton nicknames. I think the one that you have coined that has probably had the most life has been Slim Shani, right? Slim Shani. What other Sean Payton nicknames have you gone with?
Well, Slim Shani is also Slim, like Shady Sean or Sean Shady
Sean.
or Slim Shady Sean. That's something like that. That kind of all goes. I'm up for new ones though. If you got something,
we've done hate, there's like maybe his viewpoint towards a Russell Wilson, if you will, and his legacy as a quarterback in the National Football League. We could go with the rhyming one and make it Hayton Payton, right?
Sure.
But what I did not have on my bingo card before this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars was that we're going to have a new nickname for Sean, and that was going to be Sean Tua. Out that thing. That's what we got. That's what we got, man.
Is that what we have, Sean Tua?
I didn't know that was in the cards, man. And I don't think I officially stole that from anyone on social media, but
no, I think you got it. You got Sean Tua is a spit on that thing.
Yeah. You know what, man? Hey, so you and I and Vic and Rachel V. Hill and Ryan Harris, we had a chance to do a Mile High post-game show on Altitude TV. And it does dawn on you, DMac, that is it almost a little bit healthy to say that it's kind of good for us to do a post-game show for the first time in 3 months that wasn't all glazing the Broncos and everything is awesome and they're perfect and they're never going to lose again. Because that's just not the game of football, especially in the NFL, man.
Yeah.
It is hard to win football games, and quite frankly, every Sunday you can lose. Every single Sunday you can lose. And so it was strange. Vic and I were talking post show with Rachel V. Hill. And we said, it feels pretty good to do a losing post-game show. Not that we were rooting for it, but because any great story, including Sean Payton's thriller of a movie, the biopic, epic Sean Payton's home team, includes a high, some lows, potentially another high, more lows, and then hopefully a great film ends on a high note. The Broncos haven't had many low notes, and any great story requires that, I would say. And this was a low, and in a lot of ways today was a low. And I know everybody's gonna be like, I don't care, it's just one game. Man, there were some optics of today that sucked. Being down by 14.
Wait, hold that moment. Let's get into the specifics of it. I want to get into the specifics of it in just a second, but I do want to thank our great friends at Journey Spice, who we couldn't even do this show without. And I got a note from Andon today saying, hey, just a reminder, last minute gift or memorable new dish for Christmas dinner, they absolutely have you covered because everything goes through Amazon with Journey Spice. The meals are plentiful and delicious, and you get your stuff really, really quick. So I just want to tell everybody, go to Amazon.com, use the code GETSPICY, and you could be doing yourself a favor with our great friends from Journey Spice. Flavor in, plastic out. It's organic. It's absolutely delicious. And look at all these. I know I'm going quick through them, but the meals that you can make with Journey Spice with all their variety of blends is just absolutely spectacular. So do yourself a favor and, again, use this QR code and get to Amazon.com. You got time before the holidays with our great friends from Journey Spice. All right, Coacher, give it to me. What stands out to you the most? Because I got something that kind of surprised me, was a big deal. Did not see this coming, but apparently it did matter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Boy, no, I'd love to hear it.
All right.
I was going
It started this week with Sean Payton.
As you look at him and you watch the tape, it's a smaller market, but you see a real good team.
Okay, what did you take from that comment?
You want to know the football coach taking me or the logical human taking me?
You can talk both, either. Go ahead.
The logical human taking me is that Sean Payton is being very complimentary of Liam Cohen and the Jaguars this season.
Mm-hmm.
The football coach in me that's always looking for something, a soundbite, is saying, uh-oh. You don't usually want to use the word small, little, overachiever when you're talking about opponent in the media the week of the game. I'm just going to tell you that. Like that was a Sean Payton mistake. It was unnecessary. It was a Sean Payton mistake.
Listen,
from us, we're going to find anything that we can.
Yeah.
And then we have some places have $250,000 video coordinators that are unbelievable at making things, and then it just becomes a message the entire week that's in their head. And that's football, man.
Here you go.
A small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done.
Look at that, man. And there's more.
It's just a small market team, man. Duval.
And then Trevor Lawrence being asked about disrespect.
No, I hope not, honestly. Hope we don't get any. So everybody out there, just keep it up. It's great. So, it's a big game and just proud of the guys. It was fun.
That small market thing resonated. How about that? I had no idea that was a thing.
Of course it did. And as Harvey here is referring to here, it's a presser analysis or game analysis. And I'd tell you, I coached football for a long time, and I'll tell you this, believe it or not, a lot of the Nick Saban tree and where I played at Boise State, look for every single little advantage, because really at the end of the day, most college at the highest level and pro football teams are almost identical in their build. They both have great players. You have to find some things in the margins to motivate. And that's exactly what Liam Cohen did. And then you see this one right here, DMac. Love how cocky you both were this week. Not you, DMac. Not you.
I hope I get a little credit here.
I was cocky. You were frankly, I think you were of the accord that doing what Sean Payton was asking you to do with the game. You were doing it before he asked you to do it about the Jaguars and about Trevor Lawrence. You weren't spitting it out. Not at all.
And listen, I got Receipt Street like you can't believe. Go back and watch
it out, DMac.
I spitting, swallowing.
You name it.
Spitting it. Name it.
You did it all.
I mean, listen, man, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, toot, but I'm literally the only person in the market that was giving Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars props from the jump.
True.
And my big question all week is, well, first of all, my statement that I made that everybody gave me a hard time was, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback that the Broncos are going to face at the time that they're facing him. So not his entire career or even this year. When I went back and started watching tape in the past 3 or 4 weeks of the Jags, it was scary. And I know they were playing some dog butt opponents, but what scared me, Coach, was how they were finishing off those dog butt opponents early when the game was competitive. And the types of throws Trevor Lawrence and the team were making. And we already knew that they were the number one run stopping defense. And if you didn't, we pointed out, we did on Thursday, their giveaway takeaway. We showed everybody how good they were in that department in terms of takeaways. Sean Payton talked about they have corners that can catch. Now, there was only one interception, but still, that was a dangerous defense. So I did predict the Broncos to win, but my prediction was 27-26. No, right. I mean, if you're, I was scared about this game, as scared as I've been about any game this entire season, because what I'd been seeing out of Trevor Lawrence and what Cohen had put together. When you want to put the chip on your shoulder about the small market and all that, that was an unforced error by Sean. And I know he was trying to give it a compliment.
It was unforced.
But you told me, well, you think there may be some bad blood with the Devon Vele situation, some other stuff. Can you expand on that?
The only thing I saw this week was I think there was something made it was I believe it was a national media member that said that, and we went back and pulled the tape on our show, and I think you probably did as well, if I'm not mistaken, on PhD. Did you guys actually pull the tape of Sean talking about the Vele trade?
We did not. No, we did.
Okay,
we didn't.
So when Sean got into the Vele trade, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo, and then he did the thing where he kind of bounces around, but he doesn't really finish a thought or statement. Yeah. He kind of did he kind of named a couple teams that were all kind of bad that were potentially involved in the Vele trade. And then he started talking about like a 4 to 7. And then he said Jacksonville. And I think that whoever the national media member is, it wasn't Shefty. Somebody was on, I believe it was Kreckman and Lindahl, or potentially the morning show, that implied that there might be that comment really pissed off the front office and the coaching staff at Jacksonville, because it's their business and they didn't want their business out there. And in terms of like, because, guys on the roster are sitting there like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, you're looking for somebody. Oh, you need a number 2 or number 3 receiver. So if you don't get that person, it's kind of, I think it's common practice in the NFL that you don't talk about the teams that the deal failed with, because you don't want to air out their laundry. And then the other part of it was that I think Liam Cohen and Gladstone, I believe is his name, is the GM. I think they took offense to this narrative that Sean Payton was spinning, that, they're in that same category with the Saints currently. I think the Jets were in there maybe, or the Giants. It was one of the two that Sean mentioned. And so I think there was this thing, and we all know this, man. What is the thing that I loved the most about last week's win over the Packers? I thought Sean was arrogant. And I thought it was starting to kind of become extremely contagious to the rest of the roster, and most importantly, Bo Nix. And I'm like, I like this, man. Confidence begets confidence. Now,
right.
What is on the opposite side of arrogance? Days like this, where you don't win, and then it's neener, pumpkin wiener when they are running off the field, and they take whatever little thing you said. And granted, it was little. What Sean said was little. It wasn't big.
It was.
I mean, it wasn't like, Trevor Lawrence. Like it was the reality. You know what? Do you know what the Jacksonville market is, DMac? You know what number it is?
It probably is pretty small.
41.
41. Oh, well, it's probably the same size as Buffalo then. It's probably it probably is one of the smaller markets in the NFL.
So the smallest market clearly is Green Bay, but if you lump in, Milwaukee and all that as part of the Green Bay market, I don't
nobody thinks of Green Bay as a small market team. It's
right.
It's known as a major organization.
So I would just say that lesson learned, mistake made, and now the Broncos, I think they can stash all this arrogance from the dang Jaguars post-game and put it in their little pocket, store it away for a rainy day when the Jaguars come back to Empower Field. And it's And
that could happen.
it very easily could happen.
That could definitely happen.
In fact, I have a feeling it's going to happen. The rivalry that none of us saw preseason. Two tilts with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
How about that, man? How about that? Well, let me give you a little evidence about how it might work in the Broncos' favor. I present Alex Singleton.
Today, making those tackles, stuff like that. Just little tiny things that got us to where, we're a 12-win team. I'm not going to sit here and let you guys shit on our parade. We have 2 games to go be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
I'm not going to let you shit on our parade because we're a 12-win team. Like, oh, hey, all you idiots. This is a bad day for us, but we're not a bad team. That sort of thing. And let me play you one more. Nick Bonito with an assessment.
I played ass today. I don't think I played to my standard. I feel like I could have been a lot better. I didn't come ready to play today, and it kind of reflected on the rest of the defense.
Okay, Coach, so I bring up the bigger question. Could a loss like this be really, really good for this team if they were getting up on their high haunches at all?
Yeah. And Nick, it's interesting that Nick Bonito said that post game. Thanks for pulling that quote, because immediately after the game and even kind of during the game, I'd heard a little bit about Dre Greenlaw potentially having another hamstring injury or something that wasn't particularly good news.
Okay.
And in my pop-up, I said, wait, did Nick Bonito get hurt also? I didn't see him. Like I actually didn't see him on the field for some critical moments. And I thought that was weird from a rotational perspective, kind of in that third, fourth quarter. But Nick Bonito has been really impactful either with sack totals or pressure numbers. He was on a milk carton, man. Nick Bonito, and I don't even say that to disparage the player. I love the player. He was such on a milk carton that I actually didn't know he was on the field at all. Do you remember Nick Bonito in the game?
No.
Anyway.
No, I mean, I can look up the numbers and even tell you. But no, in fact, I was sitting next to Rachel Vigil and Vic Lombardi, and at one point they were like, is Nick Bonito in this game? And I was like, well, I think he is. He had 2 tackles today, and that was it. So statistically, that's it.
And then you hear Nick Singleton. Alex Singleton. I had a Nick that I coached. So you hear Alex Singleton. They're talking about like, hey, before the world freaks out, and as he said, defecates on a parade. Like we're gonna get this thing fixed in short order. We've already proven that we're a really good defense. We've already proven we're a really good football team. I do think that this is gonna. Here's why. So when if it's just humble pie makes you better, you're gonna be better. If that's it, I disagree with that. Now, if some of the things that happen in the game tangibly wake up some of the fundamentals, schematic issues, over reliance on the pass game, missing tackles. Why? Because you took poor angles. Missing tackles. Why? Because you gave up too big of a cushion, Riley Moss. You're a guy that is better when you're taking away the space. Alex Singleton, why do you think he looked bad in space? Well, because he's really not a space player. And if your edges aren't set defensively, meaning that you leverage everything as a single high team to fit back inside, if you're not doing that, then you're going to have missed tackles because you create space. And NFL football players, when you create massive space for skill players, guess what they do? If they're not in the NFL, if they can't make somebody miss in an open space. But if there's a reduced amount of space like the Broncos have had pretty much all year versus today where you felt like there was a ton of space, you've got to tip your cap, number 1, to Liam Cohen. You got to tip your cap, number 2, to Trevor Lawrence, the ball distributor. But they took advantage of some things defense or schematically as an offense against Vance Joseph's defense. And the one thing I saw is get into reduced splits. When you condense your splits, meaning the receivers are playing closer to the offensive tackle, and sometimes you play in a little, a bunch set or a stack that's how you get press man off. And then guess what Liam Cohen was doing? He's like, okay, I don't want to play this game spread out and get press man the whole time. If I do that, then I get free access corners, meaning the corners are 7, 8, 9 yards off, and we're going to throw little RPO, out routes and stuff, and then we're going to catch the ball, and then our guy, whoever Washington, he's going to have
Parker Washington,
he's going to have 145 yards receiving because he's going to make one guy miss with all the spaces created. And so what I think the Broncos need to get back to is, even if they're playing condensed splits, go press the point. Press the guy that's on the line of scrimmage. Who cares? Put Pat Surtain on him and latch onto him. And then have a defender behind him deal with it. I thought that was the number one schematic thing that other teams have done. The Packers did it. And I think that that was something that Liam Cohen saw. It's something I saw. I'm like, oh, you want to get press coverage off and not have to deal with Pat Surtain, just owning your guy at the line of scrimmage? Have your guys come in and play condensed and play in bunches, play in nasty formations, which means nasty means that the receivers are close to the nasty offensive line butts, right? No, O-line and D-line. You get into that stuff, then you get free access, and then you get free access. Now you force Pat Surtain not to be a pass breakup and interception guy and a cover guy. You force him and Riley Moss to be tacklers, and they did that.
Well, boy, great explanation there, Coach. Sean did not quite have those same words.
Turn around.
You mentioned the tackles. It feels like just a few more breakdowns kind of in the defensive passing game, recently. Is that an area of concern? What's your concern?
Well, obviously, we'll look at the tape and sort through it. But, I think they certainly threw with more efficiency tonight than we did.
Sean, mechanically, when it comes to missed tackles, in general, what's your observation about what goes wrong?
It hadn't been a problem. I mean, look, it reared its head tonight, though, so we've got to look at it.
Hey, you got to give your boys some props. I'm following up with what you're talking about. I asked
that was my question, man. Did you remember, on the Mile High postgame show, I said, did you ask Sean, why?
I did.
And you said, I did. Yeah, you actually did. And that's a phenomenal question. Now, here's what I'll tell you. Just watching the game on TV, I think I have the answers, at least best of my knowledge, about why there was so much more space and why there were more tackles missed in general, particularly at the corner receiver position out of the perimeter. Because when you say Riley Moss has been it, if you point to one really good trade of Riley Moss through the first 14 games, you would say great tackler, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Would you say that? I mean, he would look.
Yeah, I
awesome.
think he keeps the guys square and he doesn't let him get past him, and that's not been his problem.
No, but today, so I think Sean knows the why. I just think part of it is don't say the why on at a press conference.
Gotcha.
Because then you're essentially giving up the adjustment, and the adjustment for man coverage teams when you get to how do you deal with bunches. So when you see a bunch is I define as three receivers that are in a very close proximity to one another. Typically, those bunches can be spread bunch, where they're wide, but they're still three guys. It's one guy in the middle and then flanked by guys, 1 to 2 yards off the ball, right next to you, basically. Well, when you do that, a lot of people are scared to play press man coverage because at the snap, a lot of switches happen, right? And they don't like all the switches. It's kind of like basketball. It's like a stack play. When you stack an inbound in basketball, it's tough versus man and, man cover. So you zone off things. That's kind of how it's really the same thing. But you can choose. There's different ways to deal with stacks and condensed splits and bunches. And I think that'll be some of the solutions that the Broncos will employ. Maybe not against the Chiefs, but I mean, hell, I wouldn't want to give this Chris Oladokun any confidence whatsoever. So take away the ability to give free access and just press them and pressure them and do all the good things. So,
all right, we're going to get to what's coming up next. And now a lot more pressure on these final two games. And we'll take a peek as to what's even going on with the Patriots and the Ravens tonight in just a second. We appreciate you watching live. Make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you do yourself a favor for the holidays and get with Journey Spice.
There's a world of flavor out there, and to find it, you have to take the journey. Journey Spice Company handcrafts the most premium spice and seasoning blends that have no sugar, no salt, are certified USDA organic, non-GMO, vegan-friendly, and always planet-friendly. You are going to love serving amazingly delicious creations while knowing you helped reduce single-use plastics. Make sure to search for Journey Spice Company on Amazon today.
Journey Spice, use the code Get Spicy and save yourself 10%. You have plenty of time. Believe it or not, before Christmas to actually get this as a gift. But act tonight, and you'll have it for the holidays. That's at Amazon.com. Journey Spice. Use the code GetSpicy. All right now, Coacher, the Ravens lead the Patriots 24-21 with 9 minutes to go. So that game's coming down to the wire, and it can go either way. The Chargers did win today, as did the Bills. All right, so you didn't get any favors there. You still have your destiny in your hands. So what are you hoping to see? And you did mention the infamous Chris Oladukum.
It's actually so it in
you probably recruited this guy and were probably in his living room at some point.
Actually, I have no connection to him other than the fact that I went to YouTube and did a pretty thorough search of broadcasters saying his last name. So I'm assuming that the last name is of Nigerian descent, and the Nigerian pronunciation was very different than the way broadcasters had said his name. So I'm going to say the broadcaster one is Oladokin. So it's like
Oladokin. Okay.
It's Oladokin. So Chris Oladokin.
He was a 7th round pick in 2022 by the Pittsburgh Steelers, pick 241, with Gardner Minshew going out with an ACL. And I don't know who the backup to Oladukin will be. And I don't know if they're going to grab somebody else.
Darren?
Yeah.
Before Andy Reid selects clips of people mispronouncing his quarterback's name and using it as locker room bulletin board material all week, can we make a pledge to help the Broncos this week and give Andy Reid nothing in terms of narratives that he can spin? We don't want to talk about how big the market of Kansas City is. It's not huge. It's not that big. And we
don't want to talk about where Oladukin was drafted. Is that what you're talking about? And
no, I want to pronounce his name correctly. Oladokin. That's all I care about this week, because I don't want there to be the Kansas City Chiefs social media team on Christmas night ruining all of our Christmases after the Chiefs. Chris Oladokin goes on this monumental victory on Christmas. They'll call it the miracle, even though nobody really cares about football anymore in Kansas City right now, for this year at least. But yeah, I don't want that same narrative spun that Jacksonville is doing right now.
Well, Coach, let me tell you, I've got a great respect for South Dakota State, and I do know they're named the Jackrabbits for the time that my son played baseball at UNC. You want to talk about a baseball Summit League showdown. When the Jackrabbits came to town, nobody was sitting in their seats.
Yep.
But that was literally because nobody would go to the games at UNC, and that was
really good college football program the last 10 years. South Dakota State unbelievable. And North Dakota State, South Dakota State. I don't know if you've heard about this head coach at University of New Mexico football, Jason Eck. He came from South Dakota State as the offensive coordinator, and he is one hell of a football coach.
All right, so this is your effort on a game that the Broncos should splatter Kansas City all over the field to say we can't take the Chiefs lightly.
Correct. They're still the Chiefs. It's still, Chris Oladokin, just like a year ago, man. I was terrified of the win and get in scenario last year against the Chiefs. Last year was it Carson? Who was starting that game?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
Wasn't it the guy who played
Wentz?
Wentz. Yeah. I think it was a Carson Wentz.
Well, it was Carson Wentz. Yeah, it was Carson Wentz. Right?
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. But I was like, okay, Carson Wentz, man, which was true. This is your chance to make some tape, to potentially be something, and he didn't.
Coach.
Go ahead.
They lost to the Titans today, 26-9. They were 1 for 9 on third down. They were in the red zone one time. Yeah. Coach, at 6-9, if you can't beat this version of the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know what to say.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll stop doing the coach thing where you glaze teams that are not in a particularly good state. Okay. I promise you I won't do that all week. Okay. And luckily it's not all week. It's basically 2 days of radio, right?
Yes.
So Darren.
Yes, Coach.
Here's what I said before the season started. And for the last 3 weeks, I looked like an absolute hack, an absolute moron. I wanted to set a very clear benchmark for the Denver Broncos to have a successful 2025 season compared to 2024.
Okay.
You know what I said? You know what I said that sounded so stupid exactly 4 days ago, or yesterday for that matter.
Yeah.
I said that for the Denver Broncos to take the next right step as a team, they had to assert themselves ahead of the Los Angeles Chargers in the AFC West division. And Sean Payton needs to do something that he hasn't yet done, and that's beat Jim Harbaugh as the head football coach of the Denver Broncos. He is over the games against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
And the reason I said that, it wasn't just a random, he's got a weird record, he's 0-3. No, you know why? Because Jim Harbaugh teams run the ball. Jim Harbaugh teams defend the run. Jim Harbaugh talks teams that are basically have no players remaining on them to think that they're awesome and they're tough and they're going to out physical people. They're going to be the bully on the block. Unfortunately, my fear with just the matchup of Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh and the Denver Broncos under Sean Payton and the Los Angeles Chargers under Jim Harbaugh, my fear is that how many times did you put the football today in the running back's belly today? How many, DMac?
Boy, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I
12.
12.
And then Marvin Mims had a touch on an end around fly sweep type deal.
Right.
RJ Harvey had 7 carries for 50 yards. He averaged 7.1 yards per carry. Do you know what Jaleel McLaughlin? We don't have a number 2. Do you know how many yards he averaged? Just shy of 8 yards.
He had a nice carry.
He had 5 carries for 39 yards, just shy of 8 yards per carry.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're having some.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You're good. You're getting fired up now, and I like it. Listen, I don't think they took the Jaguars.
I was getting
lightly.
fired up because I think my 11-year-old was trying to have a felonious act on my 9-year-old upstairs, and I was hearing it for the first time. Usually these shows, there was screaming. It looked like DK Metcalf versus a Detroit Lion fan in a royal blue wig. That's what it sounded like upstairs.
That's fantastic. By the way, I do have a crazy moment.
Okay, so hey, this guy right here, I love at Saints fan. Thanks so much for joining us. Jim Harbaugh doesn't call plays; he just stands there. Relax, buddy. I worked for Jim Harbaugh for 2 years. I was on his coaching staff, and I agree. He doesn't call plays, but guess what he does? He sets a culture. He sets a culture of physicality, and he holds his offensive and defensive coordinators to one standard, which is we're going to be the toughest bully on the block. So you can, at Saints fan, you can say that I don't know. I've been on the headsets with him for 2 full calendar years, and I know, and I've coached against him as well when I was offensive coordinator at Minnesota. And him and Hutchinson and Blake Corum, they were the bullies of the Big Ten. I'll tell you that.
Well, let's look at the nice win by them today, by the way, over the Cowboys. And it was looking a little dicey, but they got it done. They have hold on one second. Well, they got Houston. Wow, that's a tough game. So they're playing. They're hosting Houston next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, I suppose. Tough game and a lot on the line for Houston. Houston could do Denver a huge favor and beat them. That would be great. If not, Coach, these next 2 games are actually critical for Denver. And that Chargers game, we were staring down the barrel of that game, meaning absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. And there's a very, very good chance that game could determine, the number 1 seed and the AFC West. You could go from a 1 to a 5 or a 6. I mean, something like that if you lose that game against the Chargers. So we'll see how that goes, and Houston could do them a lot of favor. But a season that might have had a little bit of a slow finish, now all of a sudden, Coach picks up quite a bit, and it starts on Thursday.
Here's my take. With this being a younger Denver Broncos team, if you were the Chiefs last year, 2024, and frankly, it's playing out this year. The Chiefs are aging. They're aging out. Chris Jones is aging out. Travis Kelce's aging out. Isaiah Pacheco in his third year as a starting running back's already aged out. That's just how the running back position goes, right? For a team like last year, today would have been a disaster. Would have been a debacle because you controlled your destiny. You can get Travis Kelce 3 weeks of rest. You can get, Chris Jones 3 weeks of rest. Get Patrick Mahomes and whatever ails him and whatever plantar fascia that he has or whatever high ankle sprain he's dealing with or MCL, give it a little extra rest. With these Broncos, man, and I know today was not the cleanest day from an injury standpoint. I mean, Pat Bryant, from all accounts, it appears that it's going to be more of the concussion variety based off of Mike Kliss of 9 News in his tweet rather than which is great news. There are a lot of thoughts and prayers going out to him. Is a scary scene. And then also Dre Greenlaw, potentially a hamstring injury. You still really feel the losses, in my opinion. The one that was felt the most today was Brandon Jones. I thought PJ Locke, while he does some really good things, and I love PJ Locke, the player, coverage is not necessarily his. I don't think that's exactly his strong suit. And he's not a taller guy. So you saw some more JL Skinner out there, which was wild in the fourth quarter. Particularly a special teams contributor. But you miss Brandon Jones and his ability to be a combination of a down safety that can fill the run game, be physical like PJ Locke can, but then also Brandon Jones can double as a really good cover player at the safety position. So back to all that.
Hold on. I can give you an interesting thing based off everything you just said there. I don't know if you noticed, but on Twitter, Justin Simmons was like, rah, rah, let's go, guys, about the Broncos.
Hey, how we doing?
He was at the Nuggets game last night. Saw him. Signing autographs.
I'm here.
You think that's just a little coincidence?
Justin Simmons got to throw on a Deion Sanders t-shirt that was very in vogue about a year and a half ago. Not quite as popular anymore, but I ain't hard to find. It would be a perfect shirt for Justin Simmons to throw on.
He was definitely making his visibility apparent over the past 24 hours, both online and at the game. Now, listen, I'm sure he likes basketball and he lives here. And that was a great game with the Rockets, theoretically. We can get into Bruce Brown and Kevin Durant, that whole thing. Wow, that's fun. But that being said, would you add Justin Simmons? Would you?
Geez, it depends on where Brandon Jones is at. If Brandon Jones looks like he is like a 4 to 6 week guy and Super Bowl would be about the only way that he would be able to play, then yeah, I would. If Brandon Jones with a strained pec, who was not put on IR, correct?
No,
has not been put on IR. If he's a 2 to 3 week guy and he's already missed 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, this will be a second game. Yes.
So yeah, he injured it before Packers or in Packers game?
In Packers. Well, I guess this is just his first week. Yeah, no, he got hurt during the Packers game. Yeah.
Gosh. I mean, I think you should look long and hard at it. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but there seemed to be like just something there between Sean and, or not, maybe not between Sean and Justin, just something from Sean's viewpoint towards Justin Simmons.
Yeah, I know I know what's going on with that, by the way. Well, at least I know what the rumors are. I'll tell you.
There was some allegiance to Russ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's I don't think it's as much as that. Today, see here, I'll just tell you what's happened. The word is behind the scenes, and you can do whatever you want with it, okay? And whether it's true or not, at least this is the narrative I've heard now from multiple muggles. It is a dumb internet show. We're good. We can say whatever we want. All right, so this is from multiple muggles about Justin Simmons and how the Broncos feel about him, okay? Yep. Today, they had at halftime a snowball contest. It was dodgeball between firemen and policemen.
Okay.
That was we had mutton busting, and we had this, which wasn't nearly as entertaining.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't a great show.
Those are all first responders. What the narrative about Justin Simmons is he's a second responder. And apparently that doesn't really go great with Sean Payton. Multiple people have told me that's the vibe.
What is that? What's a second responder?
You tell me.
I don't know.
Not first to the ball.
Okay, I got you.
You know,
I didn't know if it was like a personality thing.
No. Kind of just like late to kind of everything, but jump on the pile guy. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. Second responder.
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense.
So, That's not my analysis. That is not me. I'm just telling you what the vibe is behind the scenes on Simmons.
Yeah. So DMac, I started that kind of. I got down this this injury slope. What the original thought there is that with the Broncos being a younger team, a team like with Bo Nix, that I think he still has a developmental arc before he is the bona fide Super Bowl champion, hero of the town. And I think 2 extra games is good for him. I do. And I thought I was concerned about the Bo Nix Denver Bronco offense, the RJ Harvey Denver Bronco offense, just the overall moving pieces of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims and Jaleel McLaughlin and the tight end position. Like, is Evan Ingram going to be a part of it? I thought the Broncos they're in a fairly good space offensively. Today was kind of weird. It was uneven. Did you know, DMac, that the Broncos had 100 more yards of offense today than the Jacksonville Jaguars? Did you know that?
That does not surprise me. I didn't know it off the top of my head, but that does not surprise me.
100. Now they had 2 turnovers, so you can say those two turnovers negated, drives basically.
Yeah, and they had 6 penalties to 2. So the Jags were the most penalized team in the NFL next to the Broncos, and they had 2 penalties. The Broncos had 6.
Dude, the Jags
in terms of total yards,
they played a
say
perfect
again.
game.
Sorry,
the Jags played a perfect game.
They were really, really good. They were really good.
They looked good.
And the Broncos, like, you got a doink from Big Nuts Lutz, had a doink on you. It's like, oh, wow, we were just giving away points here. By the way, just a small thing. You're down 3 possessions, 17 points. I'm fine to kick a field goal. I think it was our friend Nate Kreckman who was like, oh, that was a dumb move. Like, no, it's not. That's actually a smart move. Like,
do it right away, though.
Well,
I'm saying do it. Yeah, I mean, you got to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a hesitation to do something stupid on 4th down. Like Dan Campbell doesn't understand math. That's my biggest problem with Dan Campbell. He's, biting kneecaps and everybody's all fired up. But like, there's a difference between basic math and being aggressive on 4th down. Like, he doesn't understand basic math, and Sean does. And I do like that. Let me go back to Pat Bryant for a second. And we can wrap up on this. Here's what Bo Nix said after the game about Pat Bryant and the injury.
Well, you never want to see somebody in that situation, and I feel responsible because I threw it. And it's you can say it's part of the game, but you just never want to see it, and you really pray he's okay. Can be back out there as soon as he can, but it's just one of those things that you wish you could avoid, but that was a tough situation.
Listen, you're up by 14. You're in kind of an impossible situation, and I know what the Bears did. I do. So I don't say you should stop playing football. But I think that was, as the phrase goes, a hospital ball. And it was kind of, in my opinion, unnecessary. From a coach's perspective, how would you break that down?
Well, when you're going for it down 14, I believe it was inside the 2-minute warning, was it not?
I think it was under a minute to go.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
but
you're down 14 under no timeouts, and the ball wasn't inherited on the 2 or 3 yard line.
It was deep in Broncos territory.
I was actually on the.
I'll look it up.
We were prepping the show, and I was on with Vic and Rachel before that drive started. I said, you know what? Nothing good's going to happen on this drive for the Broncos. Either Bo's going to throw a second pick, and now he's responsible for 3 turnovers essentially, and his headspace probably not in a great place. And I'm like, but on the other hand, you got to go for it.
Well, let me tell you the down and distance. Okay, it was 1st and 10 at the Denver 17 with 41 seconds to go, and the Broncos had 1 timeout left.
Yeah, I mean, it's football, man. I mean, you can second guess everything into oblivion. I just knew, like, more from my years of experience of just coaching football, watching my dad's teams. There's times in games where you're like, nothing good's going to happen here. I don't like this. Like, something bad. Like, I was worried about Bo, like, getting a blindside sack and just gets hit really hard and the ball squeeze, you're holding on to it too long. You're trying to make something happen, and the ball, gets away from you, and they scoop and score, and all of a sudden you're a 21-point loss. I like it. Just stupid stuff like that I hate it. End of game scenarios like that. At that point in time, it just felt like there was literally no chance the Broncos were going to make anything significant happen, because the Jaguars defense had been good all day, man. They've been good all day. Just like they might have given you some things in the past game, or they might have given up a couple decent runs.
Yeah.
It felt like they were a step ahead of you, man. They were just a little bit better than you the whole day.
They were.
As a result of that, I just didn't feel like the Broncos were going to have anything positive happen on that drive. So I was kind of like, why go for it? Especially with what in my mind, I'm like, the stakes are massive the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Massive. And why even risk anything? And unfortunately,
is that more on
like
that play, coach, wasn't a called play, it was a scramble. So whatever was called went in the trash can. Is that a moment in Bo Nix's life as a football player in the NFL that he needs to learn? It's better just to throw this ball away in this particular situation than get one of my guys killed, even if I can make a completion.
Man, I hate to say it because it sounds heartless, but the reality of it is you got it. Football's football. Like he threw that ball to Pat Bryant, and the corner that obliterated Pat was actually kind of lurking on another cover player. So he wasn't like directly covering. He saw the ball in the air, broke on it, and then it was obviously the hospital ball. I've seen a lot worse hospital balls in terms of the setup. The actual ball itself and the hit itself was in hockey. I'll use a hockey term. It was a grade A hospital ball. Unfortunately, I mean, literally, like it ended up leading to a hospital visit, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen a hospital ball that's been called that, and somebody ends up in the hospital. It's not funny, but it's a reality, right? And but I didn't think it was anything. I think Bo Nix was just being a competitor, man. I mean, and trying to make something happen for his team. So me as the coach, if I'm the play caller, I'm like, okay, what are we going to get accomplished here in this last 41 seconds or whatever it was? In my heart of hearts, I'm usually like, not much. And I've had more bad things happen in those situations than good. And so I don't know, man, it does look pretty bad when you run the ball or take a knee. Like it looks pretty bad. Like you
got one timeout. It's 1st and 10 from your 17, down 14 points with 41 seconds to go. I know you have to fight your inner football instincts, but you got one of your dudes hurt on something that was completely
that's been pretty
unnecessary.
significant, man. Like let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Was Pat perfect in this game? No, he wasn't. He dropped the ball that Bo threw behind him, and then he frankly got out wrestled for a 50-50 ball that was an interception.
Yeah.
And probably if that ball is going one-on-one to Cortland Sutton, it probably isn't picked off, I'll say. So Pat didn't have a great day today, but Pat's had some really good moments this year. Pat has been very clutch. He's been a good draft pick for the Broncos.
All right. We're not going to spit it out. We're going to swallow it. And if that's what the coach wants us to do, then that's what we're going to do. And he can be Sean Tua. And that's what we got. A new nickname for Slim Shawnee, Shady Sean Tua.
Hayden Payton
and Sean Tua. So here we go. I will be back at it tomorrow. You're going to be on 9 News at 6:30 or
yes, sir. Oh, dark 30, man. 6:45.
Yeah, I'm doing the 2 more weeks of this Brett Kane stuff. Like, Brett, come back.
How was the appetizer, man? Is it going pretty good?
It's fine once I get there. And and it is definitely a rah-rah team moment because we love Kaner, and it is what it is.
You're a good teammate.
I'm happy. I'm trying to be a good teammate. So I'll be on
Can I give you some advice? Can I give you some advice for tomorrow?
Of course.
Sean gave all of us some advice in terms of what to do with various proteins, right? I'm going to give you some other advice.
I played ass today. I mean, I don't think I played to my standard. I feel like I could have been a lot better. I didn't come ready to play today, and it kind of reflected on the rest of the defense.